All right, guys. So last week, everyone was singing Trump's praises with his first 100 days in office again. And as they should, historical records, as always. But I want to talk about his last 24 hours, his regular Monday morning, and his accomplishments. The man truly makes me feel so incredibly lazy. But let's go over the list, starting off with some great news. The last American hostage was released by Hamas. That is so great to hear. We should probably just start off with the biggest news. Donald Trump slashed the big pharma prescription prices up to 80%. This is huge news. This is historical. Democrats have been running on this. Like Bernie Sanders has been running his campaign saying he's going to do this. But big pharma lines their pockets. They're in bed with them. They don't want to cut out the middleman when they're the middleman.
But starting today, the United States will no longer subsidize the health care of foreign countries, which is what we were doing. We're subsidizing others' health care. Countries where they paid a small fraction of what for the same drug that what we pay many, many times more for. And we'll no longer tolerate profiteering and price gouging from big.
This is an extraordinary day. This is an issue that, I grew up in the Democratic Party, and every major Democratic leader for 20 years has been making this promise to the American people. This was the fulcrum of Bernie Sanders' runs for presidency, that he was going to eliminate this discrepancy between Europe and the United States. But as it turns out, none of them were doing it. It's one of these promises that politicians make to their constituents, knowing that they'll never have to do it. And the reason they'll never have to do it is because they know that Congress is controlled in so many ways by the pharmaceutical industry. There's at least one pharmaceutical lobbyist for every congressman, every senator in Capitol Hill, and every member of the Supreme Court. By some estimates, 3.
So this pharmaceutical deal, I'm just going off the Truth Social posts. It says, it's a long one, but he says, I'm pleased to announce that today, the White House at 9 o'clock will be signing one of the most consequential executive orders ever. They will be reducing pharmaceuticals by about 80%. Essentially, we are going to pay less than the country that's paying the least for pharmaceuticals from here on in. How does that work?
First of all, it cannot be overstated how big of a deal this executive order that President Trump will be signing in a couple of hours is for American families, and especially our seniors who have been ripped off by very large and rich pharmaceutical companies.
Today, Trump is in Saudi Arabia. He's like on a 3-day tour of the Middle East. I don't know. He's hanging out with the king over there. They're like schmoozing it up, rubbing elbows, and bringing 2 million jobs to the U.S.
Let's get started.
And inflation has hit its all-time low in the last 4 years, despite the tariffs.
Haters gonna hate, but they can't deny the fact that what President Trump is doing is working, because inflation numbers came in today, and the numbers are the lowest they've been since 2021. A report was released this morning, Tuesday, May 13th, by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, and it shows that inflation is at 2.3%. It also shows that gas is down 11.8% from last year, fuel oil down 9.6%, airfare down 7.9%, propane, firewood, public transportation down 5.6%, energy down 3.7%, major appliances down 3.6%, fresh veggies down 2.9%, hotels down 2.3%, car rentals down 2.1%, and non-prescriptions down 1.1%. And we know that number is going to continue to plummet with the executive order that President Trump signed yesterday. This is big news because this surpassed anybody's expectations, and we are expected to see the numbers to continue to drop.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of tariffs, China, this is another big one. China has decided to open up its economy completely for American businesses, lowering their tariffs, but still maintaining the ones for steel and automotive, dropping the gas prices, making the stock market skyrocket again.
Global stock markets are soaring thanks to President Trump's latest trade truce with China, and the world's two largest economic superpowers have agreed to slash tariffs by 115%. That means there's still some in there, but they're much lower, and it's for a 90-day period. So, Wall Street, the corner of Wall and Broad, liking the cooling off that they see. The deal cuts reciprocal tariffs, again, by 115%. And China will reduce pressure on U.S. products from 125% down to 10%. The U.S. will temporarily lower tariffs on Chinese goods from 145 to 30%. So you see, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent revealed that this breakthrough was able to happen under President Trump because China walked all over Biden.
And I don't think this was on his Monday to-do list. I think this happened last week, but Trump has granted refugees for, let me make sure I say it correctly. Afrikaners. And I believe they're like Dutch, they're like white South African farmers. I'm going to read my notes because I can't find much about this on the news, but I think it was last week, 59 white South Africans arrived in the U.S. under refugees due to racial discrimination and violence against white farmers in South Africa, including allegedly, because I think the president is doing, I'm not sure. See, I don't know too much about this. The good thing is we have a fellow friend creator that's friends of the channel. Maybe she'll make a video because I'm kind of confused about what's going on because everything is alleged. No one is really talking about it, and things could get lost in translation overseas. But apparently there's a lot of violence going on to these white farmers, and their land is being taken. I'm not really sure. I might add some clips, and we can all learn together.
Now, South Africa leadership is coming to see me, I understand, sometime next week. Yeah, but it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about. But it's a terrible thing that's taking place, and farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, but whether they're white or black makes no difference to me. But white farmers are being brutal, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa. And the newspapers and the media, television media, doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they'd talk about it. That would be the only story they'd talk about. And I don't care who they are. I don't care about their race, their color. I don't care about their height, their weight. I don't care about anything. I just know that what's happening is terrible. I have people that live in South Africa. They say it's a terrible situation taking place. So we've essentially extended citizenship to those people to escape from that violence and come here.
What's happening in South Africa fits the textbook definition of why the refugee program was created. This is persecution based on a protected characteristic, in this case race. So this is race-based persecution. The refugee program is not intended as a solution for global poverty, and historically it has been used that way. Wherever there's global poverty or wherever there's dysfunctional governments, then the U.S. refugee program comes in, swoops people up, relocates them to America.
We've all been anticipating this one. No tax on tips and overtime conferred by Donald Trump. Promises made, promises kept, baby. But knowing Trump, this is just the start of his week. I'm sure there's going to be tons more success and accomplishments later on in this week. I do want to add that Trump does make me feel lazy, and I'm only 45. I love watching his granddaughter's YouTube channel, the golfer Kai. She's so beautiful. She's so down to earth. I love her. Well, remember a couple weeks ago when he brought his granddaughter with him to the UFC fight, and she was so excited. She got to meet Shaq and a bunch of people. Well, those things end really, really late. I'm in bed by 9. Well, Trump invited her to be part of the little reporting news cycle thingamajig, and you can see in the vlog that they're about to land the plane and everything, and they're like, oh, we're landing the plane, and she's like, oh, I have to go sit down, and it shows the reporters. She says it's like 3:30 in the morning when all this is going on, and Trump is talking to like reporters and still being up at 3:30 in the morning. Can you believe that? Like, can you imagine Joe Biden doing that? No, I just found that so exciting that our president is still up at 3:30 in the morning while we're still in bed, just working. It's a great time to be alive.
What's up, guys? I'm on Air Force One right now. It's 2:13. in the morning. The UFC fight was really cool. It was a lot of fun. Thanks so much, Santa, for having us. I really appreciate it. You guys are always the best to us. And
he's talking to the press and he wants you.
Who?
Did you tell them?
Modern day tourism. Okay, come on over. You know the fake news? This is the fake news.
Hey, what's up, everyone? How are you guys? Good morning. It was really cool. It was really cool.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys. Oh wait, we're literally about to land. You gotta roll. Well, we just landed on Air Force One, and I answered some media questions, I guess. But yeah, it was cool.
We have a president that cares. And I think that's why some men get like triggered by Trump, because maybe they're lazy and they feel inadequate. But if you guys can think of any accomplishments Trump did this week that I might have forgotten, please jot them down in the comments down below. And as always, if you guys like this one, give it a big old thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, 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 bye.
Ladies and gentlemen.